Hey, what's going on, guys? Jay from Easy Blade. Today we're going to be doing an Afro Taper fade. We're also going to be shaping the Afro. Let's get into it. Okay, guys, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and pick out that hair, guys. You want to make sure that you're picking this hair out as much as possible. Now, the reason you want to go ahead and pick out the hair is because you want to make sure that the hair is fully extended. So when we do go to shape the Afro, we'll have all the hair out, and when we do shape it, it'll be nice and even. If you don't, the hair is pretty much patted down. If you try to shape over that, the hair is going to be uneven. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our T outliner, and we're going to go ahead and start our skin line. Wait. All right, guys, I want to go ahead and settle the score on this because a lot of people have been leaving comments saying that's not a T outliner. Guys, it's a T outliner. The blade on it is a T. The reason it's a T is because the blade is a T. The reason it's an outliner is because you outline the head with it. I do know Andis has a particular machine called the T outliner, but every company has came up with their own T outliner. Let's get back into it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my T outliner on every side of the head, going ahead skinning it out like I said, going all the way around the head. Same thing on the back of the head, same exact steps. Now you want to bring it to a part, bring it to an area where you feel like you'll be very comfortable with fading. In this particular case, I kept it right where his earlobes are at. And what we're going to do here is basically start our first guideline. So we have our skin line, which is one of our guidelines. The next guideline is going to be the the machine all the way open, the half. And that's going to be our first guideline, okay? Now we're going to do that everywhere. We're going to do that all over the head. We're creating our guideline. Guidelines are very important, guys. You want to make sure that you have guidelines. Without guidelines, you'll pretty much be lost. Now, there is ways of fading hair without guidelines. I will make videos on that. But for you new guys out there that are learning how to fade hair, you want to make sure that you're creating guidelines, okay? Same thing over here, basically flicking my wrist, guys. Flicking your wrist is very important. If you do watch my videos, I do stress flicking the wrist all the time. Now what I'm doing here is basically grab the one guard and I'm flicking my wrist. Now you want to make sure that you're combing or brushing the hair in a way that you're going to be fading. Now if we were doing a regular fade, guys, we usually be combing or brushing the hair down because we'll be fading it. We'll just be combing and brushing the hair down. But this particular case, this is going to be an Afro. He will be picking his hair up this way and combing his hair up this way. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm grabbing my comb and I'm going ahead and I'm pushing it up and I'm fading. If you see what I'm doing with the comb, I'm pushing it up and fading. Now, if I was to go like this and fade it, push it down and fade it, push it down and fade it, what that's gonna do is basically leave a line right here, guys. We don't want a line right here. Now you can see me going ahead, just pushing it up and fading, like I said, making sure I'm flicking that wrist, using my one guard, pushing it up. Now what I did here was basically drop down to my half. Since we're already on this side, we might as well just, finish blending that part out. So what I did was drop down to my half, same steps, just pushing that hair up as I start to fade in. And we're gonna really make this taper pop by shaping up the Afro, guys. Flicking that wrist. And we're gonna go ahead and take off that guard and we're gonna continue to blend that taper in, guys. Making it look nice and clean, all right? And the real magic is gonna happen here, guys, when we start to shape that hair. That's when you're really gonna see this haircut pop out and when we give it the shape up. All right, same thing, that's nice and blended out. We don't see any lines. Same thing over here, taking my comb, pushing it up, pushing the hair up and starting to blend that in. Flicking that wrist, guys, flicking that wrist is very important. Make sure that you're flicking your wrist. If you don't, you will be continuing to go into the hair. We don't want to do that. Continue to flick that wrist, guys. Very important. Build that skill, guys. Just build that skill, guys. Make sure that you're building that skill for yourself. If you got to practice when you're by yourself, if you're not cutting hair, if you guys are just starting out, practice without cutting hair, guys. Flick your wrist. Practice messing with that lever. Just get to it, guys. Pushing up again on that fade, trying to get that fade nice and blended out. There we go, we drop down to our 0. And we're gonna go ahead and taper that out. Now I'm using my brush. Okay guys, using a brush can be very important and very crucial to your blend. Now the reason why I grab the brush is because when you start to drop down to that skin line, there's very, very small micro hairs, all right? And those hairs can get in the way of your blend. You might not even think you're blending hair, especially if it's hot outside, somebody's slightly sweating a little bit. You need a brush, guys. You need a brush to kind of brush out that hair that's there. You want to brush that out of the area. Same thing, just tapering it out, making sure I can see my blend as much as possible, pushing that hair up with that brush, and making sure I can just basically clearly see what's going on here. Like I said, you don't have to use the brush too much, but make sure that you are brushing that hair out. You want to get rid of those micro hairs. You can see the neck looks a lot more cleaner since I've been using that brush, just to get that little bit of hair out of there. And you can see it's a nice clean look, but again, the fade's gonna pop once we start shaping that afro, guys. And that's what we have on the back. Same thing on this side, guys. Basically, you're gonna use your 1 guard, then you're gonna drop down to your half, then you go ahead and drop down to your 0, tapering into our guideline, basically. Same thing we did on the other side. You wanna make sure that you do that. And you can see the same thing, grabbing my comb, pushing that hair up, can't stress it enough, guys. Flicking that wrist. Brushing it out, just brushing out that hair. Just brushing it out before I drop down. Now I'm dropping down, you see, every time I go down to that skin line, I grab my brush real quick because I do want to take out all those micro, small hairs, guys. Brushing that out, making sure it's nice and clean. All right, guys, there we go. You can see nice and clean. So we're gonna start our shape up in the back since we're here. So what I did was grab my T. Now you can see me bending the ear with my finger. Now guys, the ears can feel like they're in the way, but don't be afraid to bend your customers' ears. Bending ears are so important to get around, to get behind. Ears are always in the way, so are noses when you're doing mustache. Don't be afraid, it's not gonna hurt your customer. You're a barber, you're in control of that person's, facial and hair at that time. They're okay with that. They're comfortable with that. They trust you. Do what you want with the ears. Some people have smaller ears. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta bend it, hold it down, go around the ears. Do what you have to do to get the job done. All right, guys, going around that ear, you can see, taking my finger, just pushing his ear down. It doesn't hurt him. He's fine. All right, so I'm behind there, pushing it down again, no problems. And just going around that ear, guys, making it nice and sharp. All right, so we're gonna do the same thing on this side. Just going around the ear a little bit, making sure that neck is nice and tapered and standing out a lot more than it was. Now the magic, again, guys, is gonna happen once we shape that fro. I can't really stress that enough. Making sure it's clean, making sure there's no hair on the neck. And there we have it. So here we go, guys. We're gonna start our shape. Now before we start our afro shaping, I can't stress enough to you guys, you gotta keep your eyes behind this blade. If you don't have your eyes behind the blade, you're gonna fail, guys. You can't shape it this way because then you don't know where this machine is going. You wanna make sure that you got your eyes behind the blade at all times to see where it's going. Now, as you can see, I'm just lightly grazing it, going over the hair, shaping it, and just, kind of picking where I want it at. Now, this is called the freehand technique, guys. That's the name of the tutorial, the full tutorial we did. I think it was last week we did. And I'm just going to the level that he basically asked me for. He said take about, say about a ½ inch off, and just make it look clean. As you can see, bending the ear, going behind the ear. Like I said, you move those ears out the way, don't be scared. And just basically continuing to shape that afro. Now you see, my eyes are behind that clipper. I know what I'm looking at. And you basically want to just hover over the afro, guys. Take your time. It's not a rush. It's not a race. All right. Just going around it. Same thing in the back. So we're sculpting, guys. We're artists. Barbers are artists, guys. We want to make sure that we use our art. We want to make sure that we really, I can't stress that enough, guys. You guys are artists, you're creators. You could try to cut like other people. You can try to cut like, people you see online, but eventually, like I tell everybody, you find yourself, guys. You'll find who you are. You'll find out the artist that you are. Now, you do want to take tricks and tips from me, tricks and tips from other people online. And you want to put those tips together and find your own artistry, guys. You guys are all artists out there, and you are who you are, and people are going to like you for your haircuts, guys. They're not going to like you because you cut like so-and-so. Everybody's different, and that's why everybody shines. You're all artists. If you continue to cut hair and look at it like an art, you're going to be okay. If you look at it like a job and you look at it for the money, then you're going to have a problem, guys. You can't, it's just not how it works. All right, you can see me, my eye is behind that clipper, behind that blade. My eye is behind that moving blade, okay? Now, in this particular case, how I'm flicking my wrist this way, and I couldn't get behind it, I won't go so far. I won't continue to bring the clipper this way because I can't see it, but I might do this to kind of bring it up a little bit. Now, I'm getting the front of the hair, okay? Just sculpting, guys. This is sculpture. It's so fun. This is one of the reasons why I started cutting hair again sometimes, part-time again, because it's awesome, guys. Cutting hair is fun. When I stopped cutting hair for about 5 to 6 years, I felt like I was like losing my creativity. Cutting hair is just, it brings a lot out. I was doing it for 20 years. So here we go. We're starting up the shape up with our T outliner, guys. Yes, it's a T outliner. And we start in the middle, and we start to shape that up, and we're gonna work our way from left to right. Okay, guys, as we start to shape up his particular headline, now his squares on the side, they're a little bit smaller. It's a little bit closer to his eyebrow, so you gotta be very careful. You're gonna get clients that sometimes have the squares where you shape them up at are gonna be a little bit closer to their eyebrows, and you wanna be careful of that because you don't wanna cut anybody's eyebrow off. So here we go, continuing with the shape up, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I'm talking about as for the side. And here we go over here on this side, just making sure we're getting the front line straight as possible. And then we're gonna go ahead and drop down right here. As you guys can see, I'm not holding that blade. If I was to put that blade down, it would touch his eyebrow. Now you can see that afro is nice and shaped up, guys. Now look, I'm using the bottom to go up a little bit, right? Very, very close to the eyebrow. You don't want to mess around and do that. Always stay conscious of that type of stuff, guys. Look at your customer's hair. Remember, your customer's hair, their face is your canvas, guys. You're an artist. Be an artist, guys. Always be an artist. Don't just cut hair for the money. Cut hair for the art. That's what I'm doing with my life right now. Just cutting hair for the art, guys. Shaping up the side. It's very light. We went skin over here, but he wants sort of a sideburn. We usually give him a sideburn. So I left a tiny bit of hair at the bottom over here just so we can get into it right here. All right, so we're gonna shape up the back, and then I'm just gonna pop out, bring more detail with that, with the straight razor and stuff like that to really make it pop out. You can see that afro is looking nice and clean, nice and shaped up, which really brought the actual haircut out. Now you can see right here on his right corner, it kind of goes up a little bit right there. I'm not saying he's missing hair, he's not missing hair, but it's a lighter area of his hair. So what I did was kind of ghost ride it, if that makes sense. I didn't go up into that corner. That's just how his hair naturally is. I've cut his hair a few times. It looks like that, but it's not. But it does look like it goes up a little bit, but it does not, guys. So what I'm doing here is grabbing an Easy Blade straight razor. We apply some of the shave gel, and we're using our double-edged razors, and we're just giving them a nice, clean shape up, guys. Pulling that skin, make sure you pull that skin and angle that blade at 30. Pulling that skin. As you can see, even though we skinned them out, we still got a nice lineup that came in. Look at that. So we got a nice lineup that came in. Now we're gonna go up on the head to just make it as clean as possible, make it a little bit more clean, and continue to shape. Check out our guy Eric right there in the back. He's new to the Easy Blade barbershop. He's killing it already. Same thing on this side, guys. I'm gonna continue to shape him up, and we're bringing out that detail, man. As you can see, that afro is clean, and pull down that skin on the forehead and continue to shape him up. Check it out, guys. This is what we have. We have that afro nice and clean with the taper. All right, guys, hope you guys enjoyed that afro taper tutorial. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. And also, guys, I want you guys to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications, guys. We appreciate you guys for stopping by. Again, any questions, leave a comment below. Thanks again for watching. Again, Jay here, Easy Blade. Talk to you guys soon.